Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the third day of our Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. I feel like my volume might be a little bit low, so let me know if it is. I'll just move this closer to my face as well. Let me know how it's sounding. If you can hear me, I'm Kathleen. I'm going to be your host for the next week. Well, not the next week, the next 2 days, because we're halfway through. Oh, thank you, Annika. Lovely wood panel. Appreciate it. And we're halfway through our daily creative challenge. So if you are totally new, let me go ahead and turn up this volume real quick. Turn up the gain a touch. Maybe that will help. Maybe this helps too. You can hear me just fine. Okay, we won't go up too high. Anyways, technical difficulties. You might also hear a tornado siren going on behind me. Not to worry. No tornadoes are happening. It's just, the weekly Midwestern test that we like to do. Thanks, Ted. All right, so while we have all of that housekeeping out of the way, thanks y'all for helping me. Let's talk about what the Daily Creative Challenge is. So it's a great way to learn about Photoshop if you're a beginner or if you're a total pro. I know we have some awesome total pros in the chat. Let me know if you're one of them. Give me a little thumbs up. And if you're not a total pro, give me a thumbs up too, because we're super proud and happy to have you here. I know, isn't that crazy that we have tornado sirens every week? I've become immune to it, I think. But I think if you weren't from the Midwest, you would be quite frightened every Wednesday at noon. I know, Steve. It's wild. Okay, so let's jump over to the Daily Creative Challenge page. And I'll give you all of the hot details, the hot goss. So if you want to join the challenge, go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. You can register for the challenge right here. And if you scroll on down, you're going to see that today we're going to be colorizing a photo. So colorizing old photos used to be all done by hand, literally painting like in tints over the black and white image. But in Photoshop, you can literally do it with one click. So we are going to be colorizing a family heirloom to bring it to life for a custom holiday card. I think that's a pretty great idea. Cool. So let me know in chat as well if you've ever played with the colorizing filters in Photoshop. And if not, you are in for a treat. If you want to learn about the future challenges, you can always come here every single morning where they will be unlocked every day. And then you can also find out about them on Discord. So if I open this up, you can see Kev's awesome work. Kev says, I'm winning with this one. Easy peasy. That's awesome. This is where we post our work every day to get feedback before we post it to our final portfolio on Behance. And I haven't shown you how to do that the last couple of days, but I think today we might have time to actually jump into Behance. And if not today, we always have tomorrow. Greg says, I've tried my hand to colorize photos on old monster movies and silent film stills. Very cool. Old monster movies is very interesting because it's like otherworldly objects. So like what color are they? You kind of get to make that up. That's great. All right, and if you want to join us on Behance, you can go to bit.ly/PS Discord. And by Behance, I mean Discord. That's our community. So the P and the S in Discord have to be capitalized if you want this link to work. Just a heads up. What's up, Robert? Good to see ya. All right, let's jump back to my screen and let's go ahead and go into Photoshop. So if you want to use the files that I'm using, you can go to that landing page, behance.net/challenge/Photoshop and click the Get Started button, and that will give you all of these starter files that I'm working on. So I have this lovely photo of this old-timey couple. They look so in love, and I actually really love how she's like looking at him out of the corner of her eye, playing all coy, very sweet. If you have an old black and white photo of a family member that you would like to work on, I highly recommend that. I would love to see some custom images. And we are going to go from this to this with pretty much the click of a button. Now the wreath was a little, not one click, it was a couple clicks, but I just built this wreath using the digital collage skills that we learned in yesterday's challenge, where we were making complex selections with the select and mask workspace and removing the background of objects. And we can go into that a little bit after we colorize the image. Yeah, isn't it such a sweet photo? I would love to do some sort of photo shoot like this someday, like build one of those old-timey sets. Get some of that old film and an actual film camera. That'd be sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my final here. We're just gonna be working with this raw image. Again, if you wanna work on these images with me, just go back to this challenge page, click Get Started, and you can download all of these stock images. Very nice. But again, I would love to see some of your custom family photos too. Okay. So to colorize a photo in Photoshop, like I mentioned, it used to be all done by hand, literally painting on top. But now if we select our photo layer, if we go up to filter, we're going to open up our neural filters. Ooh, these are relatively new in the last year and a half. They started to come out as beta. And in the last update, they became more finalized. So we have a couple filters over here in the right. You can turn them on and off. You can even download them or not download them if you're not as interested. And I already have the Colorize filter downloaded. So if you don't see this little switch toggle and you see this little cloud icon, that just means you have to download it, and it'll take, I don't know, a minute or so. We're going to turn that on, and it's going to give us a live preview. Go ahead and zoom in here a little bit so we can see better. And that's it. I mean, we could be done here. Now, it doesn't pull out like skin tones and clothing colors perfectly. So one thing that is very cool is that we can come over here to our focal points preview in the right panel, and I can click on about where their skin is. And I could choose something maybe a little bit warmer. And that would help us warm things up a bit. Boom. Now maybe that's a little too warm. Maybe that's a little jaundicey. Who knows? You can always do Command Z to undo that. And then you can make overall edits as well. We'll just delete that. Overall edits to all of the colors, like bumping up the saturation overall. Very nice. Maybe make it a little more red, a little more yellow. Gives it that almost vintage sepia vibe. Annika says, I've used Colorize on value studies, works so well. Oh, that's awesome. That is very smart. So you start with black and white, and then you colorize at the end to see how your values are working. Thumbs up to that. Values are something that I struggle with, so I could probably get some use out of that workflow. Okay, there are other options as well. Like for example, if you have a very grainy photograph and it's hard to make out details, you could increase the noise reduction. Grain and noise are kind of synonymous. So if you ever see those two words and you're confused, that might be helpful. And then we can also choose from profiles. Say that we want a specific vintage look, like retro green. Ooh, kind of spooky, a little bit sickly. Let's undo that one. Let's try retro high contrast, see how that looks. Also very saturated. I don't know, James, if it's a technical term. It's a Kathleen term. Have you ever used a color photo for a color reference? I haven't, Ted. Should we try it? I don't know if it would do much, but maybe we should try it at the end if I remember. All right, looks pretty good. So now we have a new layer that is colorized. Simple. Easy, awesome. What if we try and colorize this layer? Let's do it, Ted. Let's see what actually happens. It's interesting how you get photo swapped horizontally when the pic gets smaller. Steve, that's on purpose. So it looks like I'm looking at my work when I'm not. That's a little trick behind the curtain. Let's go back into Colorize and see what happens. It's processing. Not much. Not much happens. Because maybe there's already, well, a little bit, I guess. It tries to take its best guesstimate on what the colors should be. Interesting experiments. I wonder if we could layer colorize on colorize on colorize on colorize and eventually end up black and white again. Wow, that's a good way to break Photoshop. Hey Tim, I know, isn't this filter amazing? Okay, so now that we've colorized with the click of a button, I know, it is that simple. Let's go ahead and build that wreath. Now, really quickly, I do want to show you the way that they would colorize photos in the old-fashioned way, basically before this colorize filter existed. we would just make a new layer. We would change the blend mode to color or hue. We'll see which one works better. We'll use our brush tool and we can add color that way. Let's see how hue looks. Yeah, we would want color. So you'd have to go in there and painstakingly color in every little piece. Ooh, too saturated. Turn down the opacity a bit perhaps. And that's how you would get those really tinty, like watercolor wash vibes on the colorized photos. Delete, we don't need that. We've got our beautiful colorized version. So using the Adobe stock images that I provided in the starter file, let's go ahead and try and build a wreath around these lovebirds. I have some pine boughs in here somewhere. There they are. I'm gonna drag them into my workspace from my library. If you've never used CC Libraries before, highly recommend it. Makes things very easy to keep assets all together. Oh, Alyssa, very good idea. You have hand-painted a black and white image before and you like to use gradient maps with blend modes. That's awesome. All right, and the bow that we want, or the garland, is this curved one because we can duplicate it 3 times to make a circle. Now I do have an actual wreath in here somewhere, but the inside was too tight. It wouldn't allow enough room for the couple to show through. So that's why we're gonna build a custom one. And that's kind of the beauty of Photoshop. We can build custom anything. Now I'm gonna go to my object selection tool. You can tap W on your keyboard to activate it, or do Shift W in case you don't see it to cycle through all the tools that are nested within that object and that option. I'm gonna drag a rectangle around here and let's see how good of a job it does to select our garland. Kristen, you like libraries too? Yes. They make things so much easier. All right, so we can see that it did a pretty good job, but you can definitely still see the white behind it. So with our selection active, we're gonna click select and mask. And this is where we can get real nitty gritty with it. I'm gonna go ahead and choose my selection tool, my deselection tool. Get rid of these. Whoops. That deselected too much. There we go. We'll use our refine edge brush tool. That's the second one right here. You see? And that's gonna allow us to get within these little pine needles, just using my bracket keys to upscale my brush, and boom, instantly erase the white. Now, if you're doing this on your own, please take more time. I'm just kind of gonna fly through, but honestly, it's working pretty well. Scribble around the edge. Let it do its thing. There you go. I like to also add a little bit of contrast to my selection, and that just makes the edges a little bit more crisp and not as feathered. All right, we click OK. And there we go. We've got our bow. Now we do still have these little pieces at the bottom that we can erase by making sure that our mask is selected. We're going to choose our brush tool, make sure we have black selected to hide, and just paint over them. And they're gone. If we were to want to reveal the bows again, we're going to switch our color to white to reveal, and we can bring it all back. Command Z to undo. Have you used the hair tool in neural filters? Ted, I haven't. I have not. Is that the one that gets rid of flyaway hairs though? Very nice. Oh, Robert, thank you for sharing that reference. That's great. All right, so let's build our wreath. I'm gonna use my move tool and rotate it. Size it down quite a bit, because we're going to use 3 of these, or 4 of them, to create a circle around. So that looks good. I'm going to duplicate my layer by dragging my layer down to the new layer icon. Now we have 2. I'm going to use my handles again to continue with my sphere. Looks good, and now I can select both of these layers by making sure one is selected, holding Shift, select the other. We're going to duplicate both of them at the same time. and we can rotate them to create our final wreath. Just that easy. Oh, it increases or decreases the density of hair. Very nice. Adds a lot of hair. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and group all of these together since this wreath is going to act as one piece. I know that. To easily group, just make sure all of your layers are selected. So click the top, hold shift, click the bottom layer, and I'm going to hit Command G, as in group, to group them up. There you go. You could even name it if you're a good graphic designer. Wreath. Let me go ahead and group all of these too so we can't see them, so they're not distracting us. Okay. So now we have our wreath. I'm going to make sure that there's a little bit of room at the top. Maybe size this up a bit. Looks pretty good. Okay, now we just need to get rid of the areas of our Colorize photo that are outside of the wreath. What's up, Jack? Good to see you. Haven't seen your name in a long time. Mostly because I haven't been here in a long time. I know you are very active. That purpose is so satisfying to see the circle being completed through duplicating and rotating. Oh my gosh, is that a new form of ASMR, but you're just watching somebody create satisfying images in Photoshop? Maybe there's a business venture in there. All right, with our Colorize photo layer selected, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a mask. We talked about masking a little bit yesterday. So you go ahead and click that layer mask icon, you get this white mask preview, make sure it's highlighted. Then using my brush tool, tap B on your keyboard if you want to activate it. We're going to switch our foreground color back to black to hide. And if you didn't know, I think this is pretty well known, but you can always switch your foreground and background colors this way. Oh, I'm hiding it with my big old head. Let me move me. There we go. Scooch on over me. You can swap your foreground and background colors by tapping X or hitting this. Swap, and then you can also change your colors back to black and white by clicking this icon too. Hot tip from me to you. Kathleen out here sharing business ideas. I'm a life coach now. Just kidding, I'm definitely not. All right, we've got black as our foreground color. I'm just gonna paint away this image to hide it. And we can always bring it back, remember, by swapping our color back to white and painting back in. Very easy, awesome way to work non-destructively. Okay, looks pretty good. Now let's go back to my original design. I'm gonna turn this off really quick. Turn these back on, except for that one. You'll notice that I added a couple extra details that I will challenge you to add yourself using these same workflows, like the select and mask to get rid of the white background. So I added a little bit of mistletoe, like they're about to have a sweet little smooch under the mistletoe. Added a little bit of holly down here. And then we also can customize our message by changing this type to be anything we want, and then add your name. So this one's from Nana and Papa. Imagine if your grandparents sent you a cute picture of them in their youngin' days in the winter and created their own digital collage. That would be a very tech-savvy group of grandparents, I have to say. Yeah, Roxanne, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So let's go ahead and mock this up. I didn't show you how to do it very quickly yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and crop this down. I did tell you yesterday that there's a great way to find mockups on Adobe Stock for free. If you go to stock.adobe.com, make sure the dropdown is in the free version, and then you can search greeting card or poster, and that's a great way to get free designs. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick export of this. Export as. Looks good. We'll put it on my desktop. Okay. I already have my greeting card open that I downloaded yesterday. And I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and find my image. I think this is it. Yep. All right, we will size it down. I'm going to hold Option to constrict it from the center. It might not be a perfect size match here. Then we could always change our blend mode to multiply to make it fit a little bit better onto our greeting card. Maybe we'll scooch it over this way a bit. Very good. I'm going to turn this off and we're going to just do a quick selection of this white area. Whoops. We'll go back to our holiday card, hit our mask. There we go. We've got a quick little greeting card mock-up. So we can export this and then we will upload it onto Behance super duper quick. Export as day 3, looks good. And of course, before we upload onto our final portfolio of Behance, we need to make sure that we get feedback on Discord. So I'm going to go to Discord really quick, upload my image. We're going to ask for some feedback. Really digging how this turned out. Maybe I'll try a different color palette so it matches the mock-up better. Thoughts? We'll see what y'all think. Make sure you post your work here so we can give you some feedback as well. And then when we change and update our work after we've gotten feedback, we're going to go to our Behance portfolios. We're going to go to share your work, and it's going to take us into our project editor. Oh, nice, Ted. Yeah, you can use difference blend to also match. That probably would have been a little bit of a faster way, huh? So we're going to choose image. I'm going to choose my final image from today. That's going to do a quick upload. And then I'm going to continue. Now we can always come back here and finesse this as we get further along and finish and add more projects. But for now, this works. So we're just going to say daily creative challenge. Holiday cards, you can name this whatever you want. You can add tags like graphic design, holiday, those kind of things. Make sure you add Photoshop as your tool so that people can find your work if they're searching for Photoshop projects. And then how would you categorize this? I'd say this is graphic design, photography. All right, and it's just as easy as that. I will click publish. And then it's public. You can also save it as a draft in case you want to make sure that you have everything finalized before you share it with the world, which is probably honestly the better way to do it. So maybe I'll go ahead and edit this and we will make this not public. I think it's in settings, or potentially not, but we can figure that out another time, because for now, it is time to check out a little bit of work that you've been doing on Discord. Let's scroll through it a bit. Thank you, Ted, for the hashtag PS Daily Challenge. I just want to do a quick little shout out for the awesome work that's being posted onto Discord. So impressive. So like we already said, Kev is definitely winning with this one, even added some animation to yesterday's digital collage challenge. I also wanted to give a shout out to Anki, who is posting feedback in the Discord chat for everybody. Really appreciate that. We have a lot of awesome mentors and Adobe staff in here giving feedback, but you are totally welcome to give feedback as well. Everybody can give awesome feedback. It's open for everyone to share their thoughts. We've got a great post from Paul. Happy holidays. Super cute digital collage using that cabin motif that we looked at yesterday. I don't really do print stuff, so I made mine for Instagram. We love that. Do whatever works for you, whatever works for your business style or your needs. You can form these challenges to fit anything. Very awesome. We've got Rar in here posting the Disney gifts. We love it. And if you want to join us on Discord, please do. It's super duper easy, super fun. We're here all day, every day. bit.ly/PS Discord, capital P, capital S. All right, it is time for me to leave. I know these challenge streams are so short, but we have a full day of Adobe Live coming up right after me. We started the day with more Creative Cloud Express, so that is awesome. If you stuck around for that stream, thank you very much. And stick around for more. I know that we have a lot of more magic coming up. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern for day 4 of our Daily Creative Challenge, and I will see you all then. So thanks so much for being here, and I hope you have a great day. Ta-ta for now. Bye.